Good evening, and welcome again to yet another edition of my daily broadcast. So tonight, the topic is making an acceptable vow unto the Lord. I'm making a vow unto the Lord, but making an acceptable one. Now, if I talk about vow, I know that most people who know the Lord, most people who are believers know what vows are, and I know how to make a vow. To many people, when you hear vow, when you hear making a vow, it's like a mystery. You don't really understand what making a vow is. To others, their understanding of making a vow has been corrupted by what they have seen, being done in our churches and all, how ministers of God have made people, forced people or cajoled people to make vows. And so when they hear vows, they are not very keen, on the subject. But I want you to know tonight that God is particular about this. It is the joy of the Lord that before a great thing happens, that you make a vow with him. So making an acceptable vow with the Lord, that's what I'm talking about tonight. Let's look together at Psalm 75 verse 11 quickly. And it says, vow and pay unto the Lord your God. Let all that be round about him bring him presents. Bring presents to him that ought to be feared. Now, bringing your vow unto the Lord, it's not necessarily about bringing money, just as they say, bring money in church, but making a vow unto the Lord is you committing to the Lord that this is what you're giving, and this is what you pledge to stand by and to be doing. Make a pledge. You vow that this is what you want to bring to him. This is what you want to do to him. It's not necessarily money. Now, when the Lord wants to do something on the earth or in a particular place, which I strongly believe this 2024 is a year that the Lord is going to do something great. And I believe right now he's actually selecting his own and taking them and picking them and choosing them. And there are those who know that they are being prepared for something, whether they know what it is or not. And so when God is doing that, he wants to take commitment from people. People who in their closets will know in their hearts that it's like the Lord is asking them to make a commitment. They don't know exactly what, but the Lord is asking them to make a commitment. And when you eventually make this commitment, and you say, you may bring different, this is what we're going to be talking about, how to make the commitment, how to make a vow unto the Lord, an acceptable vow unto the Lord. Now, here is it. As I said, when the Lord wants to do a great thing, he takes commitment from people. How do I know? Now, let's look at when David was going to build the temple, and of course he wasn't allowed to even build it. So not just David, I think Nehemiah that wanted to build the wall and all that. Let me not mix it up. But at any point that any of these people were woken up or moved by God to go and build on his behalf, you hear him say something about Bezalel, who has trained in this and that. God said, these are the people you're going to use. And he was mentioning the names of the people that he expects to be used at this point. How come the Lord was saying, I have prepared this person, for you to do this. I have prepared that person. I have prepared that person. You think it is because he created them, so he knows that this is what they have. You think it's because, okay, if he's God, then he can tell anybody to come and work with you. But in actual fact, this is what I believe. Before he could tell David or tell Nehemiah or tell Solomon that no, this family will work with you. This family will help you to do this. Or tell Moses that this person will help you. It is because before that crucial time, the Lord has been able to extract a vow from them. The Lord has been able to make them to make commitment that this is what I am willing to give. Yes, I know that for sure, because personally, I know it in experience. The Lord, it will be fishing for you to make a commitment, to make a vow and say, this is what I'll be doing. This is what I'll give. And once you have said the one that pleases him, then boom, he's ready to go. Now, let's look at some of the things that you have to put into consideration. Now, one of the things that you have to put into consideration is that you must bring the ideas before him and let him approve of it. Bring the ideas before him. For instance, you know, you may be thinking maybe because the Lord has laid it in your heart once in a while that you should pray in the night, you know, and then you woke you up to pray, you know, and so you prayed, or you woke you up to do one thing or the other, or there was a time he made you to fast for 7 days, or he made you to fast every day, you know, in a week, once a week or something like that. Because in time past, he had made you to do certain things. When it comes to this period, when you are sensing that the Lord wants you to make a commitment, you may be thinking that then automatically, you know, what he wants is for me to just say, okay, instead of 1 day, now, Lord, I'll be doing 3 days. Instead of, you just want to assume that what he has talked to you about is what you only need to multiply. No, it's not true. Because sometimes what he wants from you now, based on what he wants to do, you know, is far from what he asked from you some other time before. And so you have to bring it to him as it's coming up in your heart. You see that, okay, I'm thinking, Lord, okay, I've been waking up at 2 a.m. You know, but sometimes I wake up, sometimes I don't wake up. And then you begin to think, okay, Lord, I will make it a duty to wake up every day at 2 a.m. and just to be with you, to pray and to be with you. I want to pray for my nation. I want to pray to be with you. You have offered it to him. You have laid it before him, but it does not necessarily have to take it. And if he takes it, if you are sensitive and you know, you will know that he has accepted it. You will know, he will give you the sign that this is, yes, this is, you have gotten it. But if you have not gotten it, and you brought to him that you want to be fasting every this thing, he will not talk. But this is still not what he wants. So don't be tired. The fact that you have brought one to him, bring another one. Because just like the story of Abel and Cain, you see, the two of them also wanted to do, they got to this kind of juncture where their hearts knew that they were supposed to bring sacrifices to God. They knew that they wanted to sacrifice unto the Lord. And the two of them brought sacrifices based on what they did. You know, one brought a sacrifice of animal, the other one brought sacrifices of plants, fruits, food, you know. And when they got there, God sent fire to consume the one with the animal and didn't consume the one, you know, with plants. It wasn't because of what Cain, it wasn't like because Cain was a bad person, Abel was a good person. No, first and foremost, it was about what is acceptable to God. What kind of pattern did God want to put in place? It's that if there's going to be any sacrifice, it has to be by blood, the shedding of blood. You know, that's the type he wanted. And so he brought fire down to show the two of them that it is this one that I accept. Same way, if you are bringing your ideas to the Lord and you're trying to commit and you're thinking, Lord, I commit a 10% of what I earn every month. I want to commit it into giving to my neighborhood or to so. I want to commit it into doing something that I know you have laid in my heart before. Fantastic. But wait for him and see if that is what is drawing you to the I'm very convinced tonight that there's someone out there, there's at least one or two, that the Lord is trying to, like the two of you are trying to draw up something and you are bringing it to him. He has not committed to any of the things you have brought to him, and even you have not been able to commit because you have not seen any sign that the Lord is with you on your suggestions. Don't get tired. Look deep again. Sometimes, even when you begin to think of the thing and as it's coming to you, you begin to feel like, can I do this? Or is it this? Is it that? Bring it to him and let him choose. Now, one of the reasons sometimes that God is not quick to take some of our vows is that we make unreasonable vows. Now, if God wants you to make a vow, a commitment to him, he wants you to commit to something. He usually wants you to commit to something that he knows you will be able to carry on. And he doesn't want you to commit to something that along the line you will feel too burdened, or you feel like cursing God, or curse at least the day that you made that vow. No. He knows your ability. He knows your capability. He will not want you to commit to something that he knows that you just want to sacrifice, as if you are the lamb that they want to go and kill. No. What he's asking of you is something that he has made easy for you to bear, even though it may look a bit difficult at the beginning, but it's something that he knows you can bear. So sometimes the reason he will not commit to what you are bringing to him is because he knows that, no, you are not wired for that. Other times, it's that he knows that this thing is not what he needs. What God needs you for is not what you are bringing before him. Now, for instance, that Bezalel, I think, who God said of him that he was good in crafts and all those things. Now, imagine if he was feeling in his spirit that the Lord wanted him to commit. And then he now started telling God, oh Lord, yes, I will commit my money. I will commit anything I make. I will give you a 10. I will give you even 20%. Anything. And he starts saying all those things. The fire of God will not come down on it. When I mean the fire of God, it's not the type that came down on Abel's sacrifice, because we don't no longer offer such sacrifices, but the one that comes in your heart. When the Lord accepts that which your heart is, giving up to him, you feel that fire. You know it instantly that yes, this is it. This is what the Lord is asking for. This aligns with him. This aligns with his will. So when you are bringing it to the Lord, keep bringing. If you bring and you still do not feel that the Lord is committing to it, you also do not commit to it until you see that this thing that you have brought to the Lord is what the fire of the Lord is consuming in your hand. Know that when I'm talking about this vow, you are not called to make your vow to anybody but to God. I'm not saying that you should not make promises in your church, in your mosque, in your social thing, in your school, all those commitments that you make. I'm not saying you shouldn't make, but this vow I am talking about is a vow you are making even before you see the assignment. It's a commitment that he wants from you even before you know exactly where it is he's taking you. You know in your heart there's a burden that you're feeling like the Lord is asking you to commit to him. To commit either your time or your money or both, or your very life to him, whatever it is that he's asking of you. And it is to the Lord you are making the commitment, and you may not even have any money when you are committing to him already, that if I have so and so, this is what I'll be doing, and then you may not even know where he's asking you to take it to, but you've already committed it to him, that I will commit 20% of what I earn, 10% to this, 10% to that. I'm going to commit it. And if the Lord accepts that, his fire comes on it, your heart tells you this is what the Lord wants. So, as I said, it is very important to make acceptable vows unto the Lord. So examine yourself. It is you who is making the vow. So the Lord will still wait for you to bring it. It's not the one. He won't compose it for you. You are the one that is going to compose it for him. But it is also his own place to accept. It is your place to bring it. But it is his own place to accept. And if he doesn't accept, don't blame him, or don't choose to be the one to say, not that. This one is okay. This one that I brought, you're not that. This one is good enough. Nah, it's not your place. It is his place to say that this which you have brought is okay. And if you will be patient and you will be keen and you will listen carefully, You will know when he has accepted. You will know when what you are saying aligns with what is in his heart. Because the Lord is going around and taking commitments from people. He is taking commitments because this commitment that you are going to commit, he's going to need it in the very near future. He wants you to commit now, even before you get into your promised land. He wants you to commit now, even before you enter into that which he's calling you to. Before you become the vice chancellor of that university, before you become the principal of the school, before you become the local government chairman, or you become a governor, or become whatever it is the Lord is calling you to. He wants to get that commitment from you. And then when you get there, when you have made the vow unto the Lord and he has taken it, write it somewhere. When you get there, you will see why he needed you to make that vow. You will see why that vow was very, very important to him for you to make. Because when the thing is going so fast and you are in the midst of the whole thing, you may not be able to sit down and make this commitment. Or it may look too big to you then. You know, just like a child, when it's going to come out from the mother, it's so small. It comes out, then it begins to grow big. Nobody gives birth to a 6 foot tall child, right? Same way, you know, you know, the vow is to be made when the thing has not become big. When, you know, if it is money and you say you want to commit 10%, you don't have much money, you know. But if what the Lord is taking you to means that you are going to be having hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars or something, and then by the time you get there, it's looking too humongous for you to commit. That's why one of the reasons the Lord will be asking you to commit now. So whatever it is, make your vows unto the Lord, and the Lord that knows why he's asking of it, you know, will bless you for having that faith in him to commit before time. But warning, don't commit inappropriate. Don't overcommit. Check yourself very well. When you are asking, weigh it very well in your heart, because the Bible says don't be rash or harsh when you are bringing your vows unto the Lord. And then don't come back and say, Lord, I want to take it back. I didn't mean it. No. You know, so it's best that you sit down and your heart navigates until you align with the heart of God. Thank you very much for being there. And I'm very, very happy. I'm glad that many of you are there tonight with me. Join me tomorrow. Let's do this again at 8 p.m. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.